Thanos, the Mad Titan, one of the most powerful beings in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, for this video, we will be using a Thanos that's about the same strength as the Infinity War Thanos and Endgame Thanos, about right in between. Now, in the movies, Thanos' height is never solidified, but in some shots he's about 7 foot, and in other shots he's about 8 foot. So let's put him about 7'6" for this video. He will have the stones and the sword for his protection. Now, his opponent, the Flood. This is a very, very strong species of parasitic monsters in the Halo universe. These things can take over thousands of ships, spread across thousands of planets, and consume the entire galaxy if they wanted. Now, I'm pitting him against everything. Every version of Flood that is worth mentioning, especially the ones on screen. So there are a few other versions of the Flood that are not worth mentioning, and you have the leader of the Flood. Now, I'm not going to mention it in this video because he's going to be a part of a future video. Now, there are a few certain attributes I want to point out about Thanos really quickly. A, in this video, he'll be about 7'6". B, he'll have his sword. C, he will have at least 4 of the Infinity Stones. Those being power, reality, space, and soul. There will be no Mind Stone or Time Stone for the mere fact that the Flood doesn't really have a mind, and just using the Time Stone might either put it more in Thanos' favor or even less in Thanos' favor. Now, according to Google, he weighs about 996 pounds, which I actually believe. Now, the Flood is a highly toxic being that can infest basically anything it touches. It can infest an entire planet and turn an entire planet into it, basically. It is one mind across thousands of different planets. There is no stopping it unless you set off the Halo rings, or you have fire, or you have a shotgun of some sort. Something to note about the Flood is they come in very much so different sizes. Like the Flood spawns or spodes are like 2 feet tall. The combat forms are about 6 feet tall to 7 feet tall. The carriers are about 7 feet tall. The ranged pure forms are about 8 feet tall. And the tank pure forms are 12 feet tall or taller. A really big thing about the Flood is if one gets down or dies, another spawn can go into the body and take over the body again and basically resurrect the body back to life and keep fighting. So if you kill one of the combat forms and it gets down and there's a spawn nearby, it can go into the combat form and recreate the combat form. Only 2 weapons in the Halo universe have actually fully killed a full Flood with 1 hit or 2 hits. That'd be a shotgun or a rocket launcher. It will permanently get rid of the Flood no matter what. Now, the true question is what if Thanos ended up meeting the Flood at some point in his life? Let's say when he went to Titan to get the Time Stone, he realized that the Titan that he knew once was completely decimated and covered in infected everything, basically. He realizes that everybody that came here on the ship that he sent here was dead and was now infected by the Flood. They no longer have their powers, no longer have their suits, nothing about them is real. They're just dead. Thanos is now encountering a life form that he has never seen in his entire life, which he is thousands of years old. By the time he's able to realize that his ship is no longer a ship, it's been completely destroyed or taken over by the Flood. To the Thanos fans, yes, Thanos will lose this fight. For one reason and one reason only, because he will, no matter what, be overwhelmed in this fight. Let me explain. Let me put this straight. He will lose 100% of the time with that scenario I just said. Now that he is on Titan, stranded, is completely burned by the Flood. Now, if he had a ship, he'd be getting out of there almost immediately. Now, how would Thanos lose this fight? I mean, it's Thanos. I bet he's extremely strong. Well, here's the thing. The Flood is way stronger than him at this point in time. Now, if this is a planet that has a Gravemind, which is their head leader, that makes the pure forms. So, this planet has a source mind on it that lets it have these ultimate forms of them. So, he has to fight these extremely strong versions of smaller versions. If there wasn't pure forms involved, he would be able to destroy the planet with ease, absolute ease. All Thanos would have needed is the Power Stone to destroy the Flood on this planet. But in this case, since there is a grave mine on this planet, because of the pure forms, that means they have full control over the entire planet, meaning they can literally sprout vines from the ground and literally hold Thanos down and take the gauntlet off of him, or just kill him. Well, what about the sword? I mean, the sword, yes, it's a sword, but that doesn't do much against the Flood. We even see that with the elites. The elites die, even with ones with blades, which are stronger than Thanos' sword, die from the Flood. Now, the sword, all the sword would do if he was fighting the little spawns, he might be able to kill 2 or 3 of them if he has a really good aim with the sword. Now, if there is a carrier coming at him, he could kill the carrier by throwing the sword, but that makes him defenseless. And if there's combat forms coming at him, he could hypothetically cut off the heads of the combat forms, but they could come right back up. And if he was fighting a tank, the tank would just tank it, as in the name. Just like the Upside Down in Stranger Things, whenever you step on a vine in the Upside Down, they feel it. Vecna feels it, right? So in this case, Gravemind feels when you step on the planet, he feels where you are. So they will always know exactly where you are at all times. That makes Thanos literally vulnerable at every moment of all time. Now, this doesn't mean Thanos can't do anything. He could probably fight the Flood for hours on end. He'd probably be able to survive for a very long time. Just because he has the Power Stone and the Space Stone, he could technically teleport out of there. But that's the problem. He has to know exactly where he's going or have a destination in mind to use the Space Stone. And before he's able to use the Space Stone, they might have already taken the stones from him. I personally don't think Thanos is even going to get a second to think, okay, I need to go to Vormir or something, because guess what? What he's thinking is, crap, there's another thing of Flood coming at me, I gotta protect myself with the Power Stone. He's not thinking about, oh, I need to get out of there. Like, he had like 10 seconds to think, oh, I need to go to my planet that I want to rest after Thor hit him in the chest. Now, let's be honest. Thanos, like I said, he could probably survive for hours on end with the sword and the stones. Would he last forever? No, he would not, because that place is almost inescapable. And anyways, if he were to use the Space Stone, some of them could come through and still attack him and infect that next planet. He'd literally go on an endless cycle of just having to fight this. He is literally stuck on Titan. So how long could Thanos hypothetically survive the Flood? Well, honestly, he could go for hours, maybe even days. But that means he has to be fighting for days and hours. There's no building a fortress. There's no regaining an army. There's nothing. Because it's just one person. Not like it's 10,000 UNSC soldiers able to build the base. No, it's just one Thanos versus an entire army. He has no ships, nothing. Now, the casualties would be in the mere millions, maybe even thousands. Maybe just thousands. But he would kill almost over 1 million Flood on that planet. He would survive for the longest time any person or thing could ever survive the Flood. At some point, he would eventually just die of exhaustion, starvation, dehydration, or even getting killed by the Flood. I mean, one spawn just needs to get on his face and he's dead. Or a tank needs to tackle him and rip his arms off, or in some brutal fashion, just like the Flood always do, he'd die. There is a small chance he wouldn't even survive a couple minutes, but I feel like Thanos would be able to survive hours with the Flood. So in the question, the Flood versus Thanos, it would ultimately go to the Flood. But it'd be a long, grueling battle for Thanos. Thanos would survive probably hours, maybe even days. But he would eventually die at some point in time. He'd die on Titan. But that does not mean he can't win. Now, he could win if there was no pure forms. He would win. He could easily destroy the planet then. Because there's not much. It's just a few things. If he hits a planet that is just starting its Flood corruption, then yes, he would win. But in this case, he was on Titan, but it was completely corrupted by the Flood. Now, to answer the question, yes, the Flood would beat Thanos in a fight. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe because I'll be making more content like this in the future.